Welcome into the crypto bunker. You guys may think you're looking at the Ethereum chart right now. This is a fractal, okay, that is playing out right now in the in Ethereum. But this has happened before, and so we're going to try to trade based on the fact that this has happened before. Not everything is exactly the same. We're going to look at a few different fractals. We're going to try to predict exactly where the S&P 500 is going to bottom based on a correction from 2000 to 2003, as well as, um, basing it on basically traditional trend line reversal patterns. Um, this is called when trend lines accelerate. And this is the 1987 bottom for the S&P, which is a similar sort of fallout to what happened to ETH, I guess you could say. Like I said, not everything's exactly the same, but we did have a recovery, and then now we were in this channel here, and I'm going to show you guys, but we just broke. Well, we actually we're basically here, in my opinion. Now, some people could say possibly. And I'm sort of split and torn between this, to be honest. Um, if we're here for B or if we're here. Um, so we'll take a look at it and see if potentially if we have something here. So I'm going to bring this over, and we're going to look at ETH here. And with crypto, obviously, everything's going to be on a shorter time frame because it just is such a fast moving thing. But fractals are still playing out. It doesn't matter the time frames as long as the fractal's the same. But yeah, this is basically comparing this to this, and they're very similar. And the thing is that the reason I think this is B here for ETH is not, even though it doesn't touch it exactly, is because is this touch here was exactly the touch with 2, and 2 here was exactly the touch here. And see how 2 doesn't come back to the trend line. So we have A that comes to the trend line. We have 1 that sort of starts this uptrend, and then we go further up. A, and then we have A here. Okay. And then we have 2 that doesn't touch it, and see how we sort of triple topped. I mean, we could call this a double top and then breakthrough. ETH had a double top, then breakthrough. We touched this, and then we came back and made a higher high. So we touched, came back and made a higher high. Again, not everything is perfect, but what we can say is that we then ended up coming back and falling through to A. And this is what I've been looking for on ETH. And this is kind of what I'm looking to trade. And I've been expecting de-risk. I'm pretty much full cash position at the moment, besides my staked ETH, and I have a few short options on the market we can talk about. But basically, this is what I'm predicting, and this is this is not messing around. I'm reading this book. It's called Trading for a Living: Psychology, Trading Tactics, Money Management by Dr. Alexander Elder. And so this guy's a professional trader. He's also a psychiatrist, so he talks a lot about the psychology of trading. And what we need to remember is that we can't be emotional about our trades. For example, yesterday I took out a short on Matic, and I actually ended up closing it out. And now it looks like I could be right. Now I could be upset and be like, oh, how, I messed this up. But I'm not going to be, because there's so many opportunities in the markets. There's no reason to fret over, messing up one time. Okay, what you need to do is have discipline, have a strategy, and try to understand that there will always be more opportunities in the market. Um, and we can talk about, rules for trading if you want to be a successful trader. I'm just like really getting into this book, um and so this kind of played out in Matic as well. Um, as you can see, we have similar to this, right here, we probably have a, see, it's not exactly the same. We probably have two here. We came up, we sort of double top, we dropped through, and we caught that as support, and then we hit this trend line, which happened to be lower, and so now we can expect to come back somewhere in this range. So if you wanted to buy Matic, that might be your spot, right? 69 cents, maybe 68 cents, something like that. This, obviously, none of this is financial advice. Um, I'm not sure that it played out here with Solana. This is a little bit different, but we did break down here. And I would expect on Solana to see, I mean, if we look at just the moving averages, usually these will all come back to test those daily moving averages. And we can look at these on the ETH chart as well, because, I think that's going to come into play, probably 38, 37, even down here, 36, something like that. And these are volatile, so these could definitely go lower. But on Ethereum, I mean, yeah, we're looking at 1310. But what I basically discovered in this, is that, first of all, 1368 is the previous weekly close all-time high on Ethereum. So back in 2017, we had the weekly candle on the top. It blew off to 14, whatever, 60 or something. And then it came back down and it closed at 1368. And that actually is pretty much right around where this A support would come in and would give us this trend. And this actually is from here, the top to here is a 20% correction. And from this top to here would be a 18% correction. So yeah, we could come into 1350, maybe make it 20%, something like that. I'm actually going to try to catch it at 1368. There's fib retracement we can look at as well. So if we take this trend line here, and we sort of give the top, we can see it comes down to like 1260, or 1411 if you want to look at it that way. But we'll probably catch some support there, here, bounce back up, and then drop down to, I think, what is support here. Another thing to look at is the CME futures. We need to fill this gap, potentially, which is all the way down at 1287. So I think that's basically the lowest we could go. We just filled this gap on the top side. You can see we filled it perfectly to the tick. So I mean, I could see us filling this perfectly. And the reason that this is a gap, if you guys don't know, is because this happened on potentially a weekend, and then the CME opens Monday, or I guess Sunday at 6 p.m. And so this crashed down, and then when it opened, it was lower. So there's that gap. Same here. This happened on a Saturday, I think. And then obviously we gapped because when it opened Sunday night, we were all the way up here. And so this is what I'm, predicting will happen here with ETH. And again, we could come down to 1350. That was sort of my base case before. Because that's pretty much right where this, 1336 or something. And these again are just about to cross bullish. So it'd be funny, sometimes when these cross, actually it marks a top, when it's bullish, and then it comes back down and tests it. So just a few things to think about, a few things to look at. And again, I mean, if these trend lines, stick to their trend, that actually kind of becomes that support right there. So I'm not going to try to get, the lowest low. I believe in Ethereum, and I'm willing to, hold down $100 or something if I have to. For me, this is a potential trade because if you look at what happened after this, to the stock market, we obviously we rallied a lot. And actually, I did the calculation, and if we did what this does here, and into the 2000 bubble with Ethereum, it would bring us to about 78.67 on Ethereum. And so that would be a really, really good trade. I obviously this was sort of the stock market's a lot different. This could play out, quicker because again, we were looking at it on the 2 hourly, right? So I mean, think about how long this takes. This took, 10 years to play out. But if you divide 24 hours by 2 hours, because this is the daily compared to the 2 hourly, um, you could divide that by 12 potentially, which would be what, like less than a year. So, this could play out by next March or something. I don't know, because the merge maybe will sort of create this massive buzz. Risk assets will start to flourish again, which I do think will happen. Um, and we can actually look at what I think is going to happen here because this is called a trend reversal pattern. And this is exactly how it played out in 2000 to 2003. It's playing out a little bit faster now, which makes sense. We're just in a different age right now of speed for everything. Um, and so we usually will on a trend reversal, um, we'll have um, we'll have A, which is the highest point, and then you connect it to B, which basically should not touch anything else besides B. And then when we hit it and we test back, that's a confirmation of a long-term trend reversal. And we sort of like double topped here, but I guess that could happen again. But we can compare it to what it might look like today. And again, like we're like pretty much right here. We're pretty much right at the B right now. We're actually kind of like right here. So I think it could go like that and then down. And then we make a lower low. And then we, double bottom. So let's see what we're looking at here. It looks exactly the same. A lot of people have said this. And so this is what I'm expecting. That you're not going to get this information anywhere else. So hopefully you guys take advantage of this if you're watching. If this is B, okay. Again, we can look at it a little bit closer here. If we're here and we're breaking through this trend line, and actually, funny enough, I think this is that other pattern also playing out at the same time if we're looking at the 2 hourly again. So we can look at that first, but this is the trend line accelerating. And so potentially we had our A, we had our 2, we grinded, we made a higher high, we fell through, and now we could get something like this, and we could touch this trend line and make that a B. And this would sort of match that same ETH pattern that has already played out. So we'll see. I mean, it's almost to me like ETH has been leading this rally, interestingly enough, for the stock market. So maybe ETH is ahead and it already has made this move and we're actually here. And the stock market again will happen like, 8 days later. And so I'm not sure what I'm going to do here. I mean, right now, I have some put options on the Qs. And what I'm going to do actually is I'm probably going to end up buying a few risk assets try to at least. This, funny enough, like is sort of a trend reversal pattern that could be playing out here in this particular asset, which is Autodesk. So we see A, B, C, and 1. which is again this trend reversal potentially. And then if we come back and we double bottom here on a 2, and then we break through this top here, that could be a long-term trend reversal. So, but that wouldn't actually fit what I think is going to happen on the S&P. So again, this is what I think, and you're supposed to accumulate at the 2. So obviously you can like short it down to C, you can close it out, maybe ride it up to 1, close it out, short it down to 2. If you wanted, you don't have to do any of this, but and then this is where you would accumulate long-term positions. And again, so if this plays out, I don't know what will happen to ETH. It's a little confusing because again, this is different. And it's already sort of, if you look at, I guess you could take this as like a long-term trend line, and maybe it hasn't reversed yet. Maybe this is point A and that's point B, and we still haven't reversed. And maybe this is, the trend line that we're in now, or maybe this is the zone that we're in now. And so maybe if that happens, we actually do make a lower low and we come down to this area here, in the 300 range or something. Again, anything's possible. None of this is financial advice. The reason that I'm accumulating is because at that low there is because I think it's going to happen soon. And I think that if the S&P comes up here and does make a higher high, maybe we get an ETH pump. Maybe I can sell into that trend line up here, because the merge is coming. Maybe we just quickly go up there after this little sell-off. We fly up. I don't know. So it's definitely something that is a little bit riskier right now to do with all of these. Because of what's playing out in the market. And because we're potentially in a bear market. So again, I apologize for the lines here. We'll just go down to the 2. And again, this is sort of potentially, again, it's this is that same pattern that I see playing out. 1, a 2 doesn't come as far, and then we grind along, we bust through, and then we make a double top. And maybe we make a higher high, and maybe when we make that higher high again, maybe that's when ETH kind of just blows off. I don't know. And so we'll see what happens. It's definitely going to be interesting. Hopefully you guys got something out of the video. If you did, please like, subscribe, and have a great day.